Greetings and welcome to the initial episode of Tater Tots Gaming. I'm your host Tater. This is a new channel I'm going to devote to some mobile games that I'm enjoying a lot. Just kind of wanted to get in on the action here. This platform's exploded. I think there's some amazing things that are going on with these mobile games now, and quite honestly, it's really easy to capture and stream and record these things, so I thought I would try my hand at it, and I'm going to be beginning with Honkai Impact 3, which launched in the US on March 28th. So this game's been out in Southeast Asia for a while. China, I believe, is the oldest version at about 2 years old. So this version would technically be behind, although as far as I can tell, it's catching up. March 28th was the first date. I was ready for it. I anticipated it for a while. I was really excited for it, but I'm a huge anime nerd. I like this art style. I like the way that these games control and play, and so for me, it was easy when it came out to hurry up and grab it. I was loath to try it in Japan. My experience with foreign games before has not been good. I played Blade and Soul in Chinese for about a year. Had a lot of trouble with lag. It's really almost unavoidable. And in an action-based game that has something to do with how well you play and how quickly you respond, it's just really difficult to get into that. So I wanted to try this when it was overseas. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I'm glad that I waited because I think it's been worth it. So just a little general info. I'm going to be just covering my impressions of this game, maybe sort of kind of a review, and just some ideas I have about it in this video. I don't intend for it to be too long. I want to give some general info on myself and what I'm going to do on this channel. I'm going to cover this game primarily. This is basically my main mobile game right now. There are a couple others that I'm into that I'm considering making videos on. I just have to kind of make sure they're right. Some of these games, as some of you may be aware, have a lot of autoplay to them. I don't think that's very exciting. I think if you're going to make a channel like this, you should probably be actively playing something, actively using skills or moving yourself around. I just think it's generally more exciting. That's just my opinion. So I thought that this would be a good game to do this in. Just some general info on me. I am in the Midwest. I am a multi-platform gamer. Or is that multi-platform? I'm not really sure, honestly. But anyway, I play quite a bit of Xbox One. I do some PC gaming now. That's slowed down for me a lot over the past couple of years. PC for me was always generally an MMO platform. And over the past couple of years, my interest in that genre has kind of waned. I just don't think it's what it used to be. Maybe that's rose-colored glasses, I don't know. I think for some of us vets, it's just gotten a little bit different. But fortunately, with the advent of this mobile technology and with even better console offerings, I think that the choices in gaming are better than they've been in a long, long time. And so I try to take advantage of multiple types of games. This has become big for me though, and I'm playing on the Samsung Galaxy S3 if you're curious. In this particular case, this game being made as well as it is, it's pretty much flawless. I bought this tablet several months ago. One of the primary reasons I bought it was so that I could take advantage of the technology. Now it really is amazing. And the developers of this game have done a very good job. And so, saying that, I was going to kind of launch into why I chose to cover this game. One of the primary reasons I decided to play this actually was mentioned by another reviewer that I watched. I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but he mentioned how well optimized this game is, and I would absolutely agree with that. He even said that there are a lot of games out there, and I think he was mostly talking about mobile games, but I would say in general there are an awful lot of games, and echo what he said, that maybe could be a 10 of 10, but they're a 2 of 10 because they're optimized so badly, because they play so poorly, either being unresponsive, or I think another thing for me is if I have to struggle with the basic facets of a game, if I have to struggle with menus or being able to accomplish what I need to accomplish. You know, we don't want hand holding, but I feel like if things are horribly unintuitive, or if I have to fail over and over at basic things because things aren't explained very well, it's hard for me to get into a game like that. And so but in the initial case, the performance of this game is so good that it's really quite incredible. I don't know that I've played anything smoother than this, regardless of platform, PC, console, and mobile included. And I don't know that I've seen anything this responsive. If you click a button, what you need to happen happens. If you need to move, you move. I haven't had to struggle with anything. So it does have the occasional instance of a little bit of lag. It does happen. It's kind of unavoidable on these platforms. It's rare. I would say that I have dealt with lag or just being maybe a little bit slow to join a mission a handful of times. I could probably count the number of times it's happened on one hand, and that's really it. It hasn't crashed on me. I haven't had any frame rate dips. The graphical options are pretty robust, and I was able to set this on 60 FPS. Is it 60 FPS? I don't know. I don't have a frame rate monitor. If it's not 60 FPS, it's making it look good, and that's probably really about all that I could ask for. It performs extremely well. It never really slows down. I've never had any issue with not knowing where I was on the battlefield, or the camera can be a little bit finicky, as you may see so far. It can sort of move itself at inconvenient times. You can manually move it, although when you have one thumb on the directional trigger and the other thumb on the right hand side trying to peel off your skills, it makes it somewhat inconvenient to rotate the camera with third hand you don't have. But at any rate, the game operates extremely well. It runs smoothly. I haven't had any difficulty doing what I intended my character to do. I think that's about as simple as I can put that. So it's been enjoyable, and the graphics are really good. Again, it's easy for me to say I like this art style. I like anime. Not everybody does. I mean, if this isn't your bag, this honestly probably would not be your sort of game. It is what it is. Everybody likes different things, and I just happen to enjoy this sort of thing. So I anxiously awaited this game's release, and for me it was a very easy download. So what is this game about? In this game you control Valkyries. All of the characters are female. I'll show you a list here. As you'll see, there are a total of 16 characters. There are 4 girls, and each one has 4 versions. And these cross 3 different types of character: creature, mecha, and psychic. And each one is strong against another type and weak against another. Most of us have played this sort of thing before. They all operate differently. Each girl's versions are similar. They do appear very similar, although their fighting styles may vary wildly depending on which particular Valkyrie you're using. I prefer Kiana. I happened to get lucky on a couple of events where I was able to draw a rather powerful version of her, the one standing in my background here, and that has pretty much become my main focus character, with her other 2 versions backing her up. You go into battle with 3 at a time. You can freely switch between them, and this allows you to ideally remain with the version of your girl on the field who is strong against the enemy type, which of course is the optimal way to play. Not that I always do that. Sometimes I just really enjoy the certain girl's fighting style and will leave her out regardless of whether she is at an advantage or a disadvantage. But that's because I think I'm pretty good at these games, and I think I can get away with doing that. The ideal way to do this, of course, like I said, is to remain out with your strongest version against that particular type. So the basic story is that aliens have invaded. You're fighting them off. I won't go into the gory details of the story. It's presented through cutscenes, which are actually pretty good. The spoken language of the game is Japanese, although you do have the option of changing to Chinese if that's your bag, whereas the text and then of course the cutscenes do have subtitles for those of us who don't speak Japanese and or Chinese. All of this is presented in basically the same art style that you're seeing now, although the cutscenes will tend to, of course, take you away from this sort of screen and into a specialized movie-type viewer, typical of these games. But it's not presented poorly. It's actually entertaining. I'm not huge on the story on these games. That's not why I downloaded it. I have watched through everything. It's interesting enough. But for the most part, that's not why we get into these games. So I enjoy the art style, the pacing, and the presentation, and that's why I'm here. So you spend your time basically looking for stronger versions of these characters, able to bring the characters onto your team and then strengthen them. This is a gacha style game. Some of you love them, some of you hate them. I will say that I have played quite a few, and this is by far one of the better ones I've seen at the present. It's not punishing. The girls can be acquired through doing missions. You don't, at least from what I have seen so far, and admittedly we are a couple months behind the Southeast Asian version. I'm sure we are a good bit behind the Chinese version. They're working to update it. But thus far, I don't see that anything is not acquirable through in-game play. The girls do have fragments that you can acquire, and those can be used to both initially summon and then further upgrade a girl through grades. You start at grade B, then you go to A, then S, then double S, triple S, and so on. The idea being that you become as strong as possible through promoting your grades and through working on your equipment. I'm going to make some videos in the very near future over the next couple of weeks covering things like the weapons. You'll see one here. The stigmata, which are essentially buffs that you apply to your character that can be switched out and operate in sets, and the skills that all of the characters have, which are part of their rating. Also the leveling system, the base, the supply store, and so forth. But I just wanted to show some general gameplay and just give my initial feelings about the game. I'm enjoying it. It's new. I said recently to someone in chat or on Discord that they have made a very good technical product, and now I'd like to see them support it. And it looks like the devs have done a pretty decent job so far. There have been a couple of events already, even though the game is just about a month and a half old. They've done some focus gacha draws, which is always good in a game like this. If you're going to either save currency or spend money on pulling, I think it's a good idea to be able to do things in a focused manner. Here is a supply store. As you'll see, they offer focused and event sort of tabs. These rotate out regularly. So far it looks like they are trying to keep things rotating, which is good. It's a really good action game. If they don't keep content fresh, of course they can become stale. Fortunately, I've seen some of the events so far that have actually changed the playstyle for you. There was an event that was a side scroller where you collected coins, sort of similar to Sonic. Not nearly that robust, don't get me wrong, but it was close to Sonic, and I thought it was a good idea. It looks like they've got some inventive things up their sleeves, so I will be covering things in detail over the next couple weeks, just systems in the game, just some things to help people along. If you have any questions, if you want to see me cover something specific, please let me know in the comments, or of course you're free to message me and ask me if there's anything you want to see that either I mentioned or not. The core systems of this game are pretty basic. It's not difficult, it's not overwhelming, so I'll just spend maybe a few minutes each video talking about the way that you progress and the way that your characters get stronger, and just my feelings on things and some things that I have learned from playing every day since it launched. So that's it for this video. This is Tater signing out. I appreciate you watching this. This is the first video for this channel. I hope it's a long running and good one. Again, leave me ideas in the comments, please. Let me know if you like what I'm doing, and anything you want to see, I'm happy to take requests. Thanks for watching. See you next time.